How to Get Whatever You Want, Part 1, The Stoic Secret of Attainment, Want Less, Do More, Receive Deeply One. The Modern Illusion of Getting. Everyone wants something: success, love, peace, status, recognition. The world keeps whispering, you can have it all. But the Stoics would pause and ask, can you master yourself first? Because in truth, you don't get what you want, you get what you are prepared for. You attract what you can sustain. Wanting without discipline is fantasy. Discipline without wisdom is burnout. But when desire meets clarity and restraint, achievement becomes inevitable. The modern mind chases. The Stoic mind cultivates. One runs after things, the other grows into them. 2. Redefining getting what you want. To the Stoics, getting wasn't about possession, it was about alignment. When your reason, effort, and purpose move together, the result follows naturally. Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You don't wait for things to fall into place. You become the person around whom things align. That's not magic, it's mastery. Every morning you are making trades. You trade focus for distraction or distraction for focus. You trade peace for approval or approval for peace. And the total of those trades is your destiny. 3. The first step. Know exactly what you want. You can't get what you want if you don't know what that is. Most people confuse emotion for direction. They say, I want to be successful, but can't define success. They say, I want peace, but never create boundaries. A Stoic begins by clarifying the target. Marcus Aurelius wrote, quote, if you don't have a consistent goal in life, you can't live it consistently. Ask yourself, what do I want to feel each morning? What would I be proud to sustain, not just to start? What matters if no one is watching? Clarity turns noise into focus. 4. The power of wanting less. The paradox of Stoic success is this: the less you need, the more you attract. Why? Because of freedom magnetizes opportunity. When you stop chasing out of desperation, you start building out of purpose. And people feel that difference. Seneca said, he is most powerful who has himself in his own power. When you no longer depend on others for validation, you make decisions from calm, not craving. That calm turns into consistency, and consistency turns into results. 5. Mastering desire. Desire is fire. It can warm your home or burn it down. Most people let desire lead them. The Stoic learns to direct it. Epictetus said, freedom is not achieved by satisfying desires, but by eliminating them. That doesn't mean never wanting anything. It means wanting wisely. If you can't control your craving, it controls your conduct. And if your conduct is unstable, your results will always be temporary. So the Stoic trains himself daily to want only what depends on him. He asks, is this under my control? If yes, he commits fully. If not, he releases quietly. That's emotional economy, investing energy only where it compounds. 6. The formula of attainment. The Stoic path to getting whatever you want isn't complicated, it's just rare. It follows 4 timeless steps. Clarify the want. Know exactly what aligns with your values. Control the controllable. Pour effort only into what's yours to shape. Detach from the result. Focus on process, not praise. Endure with grace. Persist without complaint. Each of those steps is a shield against chaos. They make you unbothered by delay and unstoppable by difficulty. 7. Detachment, the hidden accelerator. Here's the paradox: when you stop needing something, you get it faster. Why? Because need creates tension, and tension blocks clarity. When you can say, I want this, but I will be fine without it, you unlock power. That calm detachment makes your actions cleaner and your vision sharper. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. You either endure and grow or resist and decay. Let go of outcome anxiety, trust in process integrity." 8. The discipline of focus. Getting what you want requires saying no to everything else. That's why most people fail. They scatter energy like confetti. You can't move mountains by picking up every stone. Choose one hill, climb it daily, and soon you'll see from the summit what others only dream about. Focus is the quiet separator between wishing and winning. 9. The cost of getting what you want. Everything you desire carries a price: time, effort, discomfort, patience. The Stoic pays gladly because he knows there is no bargain with greatness. Seneca said, "Nothing great is created suddenly." That means you can't want deeply and live casually. You can't demand abundance and give laziness. If you really want it, train like it, think like it, sacrifice for it. Desire means nothing without discipline. 10. Building emotional stamina. Most people give up not because the goal is too far, but because their emotions are too loud. A Stoic builds emotional stamina, the ability to stay consistent when feelings fluctuate. When motivation fades, reason remains. That's why Stoics wrote every morning to remind themselves that discipline is stronger than mood. Every setback becomes feedback. Every delay becomes data. Nothing is wasted when the mind is steady. 11. The Stoic state of readiness. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you're ready for. Readiness is built in silence. When others are scrolling, you're studying. When others are complaining, you're correcting. When others are hesitating, you're moving quietly. Preparation is the most Stoic form of prayer. It honors the present by building the future. Epictetus said, "Be prepared to be regarded as foolish." You'll look strange to the world while building discipline, but one day the world will call it luck. 12. Transition. You now understand the foundation. Getting what you want isn't about forcing life, it's about aligning with it. In Part 2, we'll explore the Stoic mindset of action, how to take deliberate steps toward your goals without burning out, begging for results, or losing peace in the process, because to the Stoic, success isn't about possession, it's about preparation meeting patience. Part 2, the Stoic mindset of action, moving calmly and consistently toward your goals. 1. Why action matters more than ambition. Every day the world is full of people who want something, but wanting changes nothing. Only doing changes everything. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Ambition lives in the mind. Progress lives in motion. The Stoic doesn't sit around visualizing results. He builds them brick by brick, quietly, daily. You get what you want when your actions become so reliable that luck starts looking like a byproduct. 2. The discipline of small steps. Big dreams are built in small acts repeated without ego. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't expect Plato's Republic. Be content if you make even the smallest advance." Most people quit because they judge progress by size, not consistency, but Stoic action is measured in momentum, not magnitude. Every tiny discipline, waking early, training when tired, studying when bored, is a vote for the person you're becoming. A single grain doesn't look like a harvest, but stack enough and you feed nations. 3. Action without anxiety. The Stoic acts with urgency but without haste. He moves fast in execution, slow in emotion. When you rush, you panic. When you delay, you stagnate. The sweet spot is steady movement, unemotional, unhurried, unbreakable. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Don't worry about finishing everything today, just do what today demands. That's the Stoic way of progress, one controlled stroke at a time. 4. The calm inside pressure. Pressure reveals your training. When everything feels urgent, most people react. The Stoic breathes. Marcus Aurelius said, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. You don't get calm from comfort. You get it from practice inside discomfort. Every challenge is an invitation to respond with reason instead of emotion. That response is what turns chaos into clarity, and clarity creates results. 5. Focus on process, not praise. You can't control recognition, but you can control ritual. The Stoic measures success by his faithfulness to process, not by the noise around him. Seneca said, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. When you focus on approval, your work weakens. When you focus on the craft, your work compounds. Forget the applause and master the method, because the day you no longer need validation is the day you become unstoppable. 6. Emotion under control. No goal survives an undisciplined mind. If you let anger, envy, or doubt drive you, you lose the clarity that creates results. Epictetus warned, it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. Train your judgment. When you feel frustration, pause. When you feel jealousy, study. When you feel fear, act small. That's how a Stoic turns emotion into energy. 7. Building momentum through consistency. Momentum is built when discipline outlasts motivation. The Stoic doesn't ask, do I feel like it? He asks, is it right to do it? The difference between wishful and successful is routine. It's the ability to show up equally on good days and bad ones. Small wins stack until they look like miracles. 8. How to move through setbacks. You will fail. You will fall. But the Stoic never calls it defeat. He calls it data. When you make a mistake, don't crumble, calculate. What did this teach me? What can I improve? What remains within my control? Marcus Aurelius wrote, the obstacle is the way. Every difficulty is a teacher wearing rough clothes. Welcome it. That's how you get strong without getting hard. 9. Working in silence. A Stoic lets results announce his effort. Noise is for the insecure. Silence is for the focused. You don't need to post every move. You don't owe explanations for discipline. Be so busy building that people assume you disappeared, because you did, into purpose. 10. The energy of service. Getting what you want often happens faster when your goals serve more than your ego. The Stoics believed virtue creates flow. Helping others aligns you with nature's order. Seneca said, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Work for impact, not impression. When your mission uplifts others, the universe removes obstacles quietly. 11. Detach from timeline. The Stoic refuses to rush fate. He moves with discipline today and trusts timing tomorrow. You don't control how long it takes. You control how well you endure. Marcus Aurelius said, what comes to pass was destined for you long ago. Impatience turns journeys into judgments. Patience turns them into wisdom. 12. The Stoic flow of work. There's a state where you're no longer forcing effort. You become it. That's Stoic flow. You don't work for reward. You work for rightness. Every task, no matter how small, is an opportunity to practice virtue. Focus, integrity, persistence. These are meditations in motion. 13. Transition. You've learned how Stoics move, deliberate, disciplined, and unmoved by praise or delay. In Part 3, we'll explore the inner game of control, How to shape your mind so you stay steady under pressure, peaceful in progress, and independent of outcomes. Because to get whatever you want, you must first master the one thing you always carry, your state of mind. Part 3. The inner game of control, mastering your mind before you master the world one. The battlefield is within every person who has ever achieved peace, purpose, or success has fought the same war, the war inside the mind. Because no matter what you gain on the outside, it can be lost in a moment if you haven't conquered yourself on the inside. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. That's the heart of Stoic mastery. You can't control the world, but you can control your world, your thoughts, reactions, and focus. Once your mind is steady, the outside can roar, and it won't move you. You'll act from wisdom, not impulse. That's how real power feels, calm, silent, and disciplined. 2. The Stoic's mental armor. Your mind is your shield. Every morning you decide whether it's polished or rusted. A Stoic begins the day by preparing mentally for everything that might go wrong, not to attract failure, but to disarm fear. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Today you will meet with ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious men, but none of them can harm your reason." When you expect difficulty, it can't surprise you. When you expect imperfection, it can't disarm you. That's emotional immunity. 3. Control the interpretation. You can't control events, but you can always control your interpretation of them. If someone insults you, you can see it as an attack or a test of patience. If you fail, you can see it as a loss or a lesson. If you're delayed, you can see it as wasted time or training time. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your perception defines your peace. Shift perspective and you shift power. 4. Training the mind. Daily mental control isn't built by reading, it's built by repetition. The Stoics trained their minds like soldiers trained for war. They wrote journals every morning to clarify thought. They reflected every evening to correct behavior. They practiced voluntary discomfort to stay strong under pressure. Seneca advised, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest fare and with coarse and rough dress." He meant practice simplicity so luxury never owns you. That's how the mind becomes adaptable, unbreakable, and light. 5. Emotions are messengers, not masters. A Stoic never denies emotion, he simply refuses to be enslaved by it. Anger, fear, jealousy, sadness, all have messages, but none have authority. When anger comes, ask, what expectation was broken? When fear comes, ask, what future am I exaggerating? When sadness comes, ask, what truth am I resisting? Understanding turns emotion into information. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. 6. Detachment from approval. You'll never be truly free until you stop performing for praise. The moment you act for validation, your peace belongs to the crowd. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "It's a small thing to be praised by those soon to die, who don't even praise themselves. Every compliment or insult fades. But the peace of integrity endures. You get what you want faster when you stop needing applause along the way." 7. Accepting what you cannot control, one of Stoicism's core lessons. Some things are up to us and some are not. The wise focus only on what is. You can't control timing, weather, or people, but you can always control effort, focus, and attitude. Epictetus wrote, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Stop wrestling what isn't yours. Peace begins where control ends." 8. Turning obstacles into advantage. Every obstacle you face is raw material for growth. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why me?" but "What now?" Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That's not poetic, it's practical. Every delay sharpens patience. Every insult refines composure. Every loss strengthens perspective. The obstacle becomes the curriculum of your evolution." 9. The habit of reflection. At night, the Stoic reviews his day like a craftsman inspecting his work. What did I do well? What did I do poorly? What can I improve tomorrow? Seneca wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said. Reflection creates awareness. Awareness creates progress. You can't master what you never measure." 10. The power of stillness. In chaos, most people seek noise for comfort. The Stoic seeks silence, because stillness isn't emptiness, it's alignment. When the world is loud, stillness becomes the ultimate rebellion. In stillness, you remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker, and the thinker can choose. That's mastery. 11. Building a fortress of focus. Every notification, every distraction, every opinion, these are tiny cracks in your fortress. Guard your mind like a sacred temple. Start your day in reflection, not reaction. End it with gratitude, not scrolling. Filter what enters, because what enters shapes what exits. As Marcus Aurelius warned, your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought. Hold peace often enough, and it becomes your default. 12. The strength of emotional equanimity. A Stoic's emotional power lies in balance. He neither celebrates wildly nor collapses deeply. He knows both victory and defeat are temporary. What remains is composure. Epictetus taught, when something happens, the only thing in your power is your attitude toward it. So when success comes, stay humble. When failure comes, stay steady. Equanimity is the quiet signature of mastery. 13. Transition. You've now understood what it means to control the inner world, your mind, emotions, and perception. In Part 4, we'll bring everything together in the Stoic path to attainment, how to manifest your goals, live by principle, and remain calm even as you achieve everything you've ever wanted. Because real success isn't about getting more. It's about needing less and being more. Part 4. The Stoic path to attainment, living calmly, achieving deeply, and remaining free one. The paradox of attainment. The Stoic doesn't chase life, he cooperates with it. He doesn't grab at outcomes, he grows into them. What you truly want cannot be forced. It must be earned through alignment. When you live by reason, discipline, and virtue, the right things arrive naturally, the wrong things lose their hold, and peace becomes your default setting. Seneca said, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." You get what you want when every day becomes a complete act of integrity, when every moment is used to refine, not impress. 2. The true definition of getting. To get whatever you want doesn't mean manipulating the world. It means mastering your responses, so the world can no longer manipulate you. You may never control outcomes, but you can always control readiness. You become the kind of person to whom the right things come easily, not because life is easy, but because you've stopped resisting its rhythm. Epictetus said, Seek not for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will go on well. You can still pursue goals passionately, but without desperation. That's the Stoic balance, to act fiercely, but hold lightly. 3. The Stoic formula for fulfillment. Every Stoic, from Epictetus to Marcus, lived by this equation. Desire wisely plus act daily plus detach gracefully equals peace and power. Desire wisely know what truly matters. Act daily, make progress without drama. Detach gracefully, let go of what you can't control. That is how you achieve everything worth achieving while staying sane, strong, and centered. 4. Acting without ego. You can chase success with ego or pursue excellence with humility. The first burns out, the second compounds. Ego says, I must prove. Virtue says, I must improve. The Stoic lives for the second. He builds quietly, confident that value eventually finds visibility. Marcus Aurelius said, ambition means tying your well-being to what others say or do. Self-indulgence means tying it to what you want. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. Your work is your proof. Your peace is your prize. 5. Living without tension. You don't need to strain to create results. You need to align to create flow. Tension comes from over-control. Flow comes from faith and preparation. If you've done your part, trust time to do the rest. You don't pull a tree out of the soil to check its roots. You water and wait. Seneca said, time discovers truth. Let time reveal the results your discipline deserves. 6. The joy of service. When your goals stop revolving around self and start revolving around service, the world opens its doors. You can still want wealth, peace, success, but let them be byproducts of contribution. The Stoic lives with the awareness, every skill I have is meant to serve the world. Epictetus wrote, what ought one to say then as each hardship comes? I was practicing for this, I was training for this. Every effort, every struggle, every delay is preparation for better service, and in service all purpose matures. 7. The discipline of contentment. Contentment isn't the end of ambition, it's the foundation of it. You can want more and still be at peace with what you have. That's not contradiction, that's Stoic composure. Marcus Aurelius wrote, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. The world measures wealth in possessions. Stoics measure it in perspective. If you can wake up with gratitude and go to bed with discipline, you already own the greatest things. 8. The calmness of the unshakable. Imagine living in a way where nothing can truly disturb you. Success humbles you, failure instructs you, loss refines you, delay strengthens you. That's not detachment, that's dominion. You're not rejecting emotion, you're regulating it. You're not avoiding pressure, you're absorbing it with grace. Epictetus said, it's not things themselves that trouble us, but our opinions about things. The Stoic gets whatever he wants because he's stopped letting opinions dictate his peace. 9. The power of persistence without pressure. Most people quit when results don't show fast enough, but the Stoic knows nothing permanent grows overnight. Progress is invisible until it isn't. You train, you wait, you endure, and suddenly everything happens at once. Seneca warned, nothing great is sudden. Patience is a discipline of faith. Each delay refines the quality of what's coming. So keep moving even when no one claps, because the world always rewards the calmest worker and not the loudest. 10. The Stoic standard for decision before every choice. A Stoic asks 3 things. Does this align with virtue? Is this within my control? Will this matter in the long run? If the answer is yes, proceed without hesitation. If the answer is no, walk away without guilt. Clarity creates momentum, and momentum compounds into destiny. 11. The silent confidence of the prepared. When you're prepared, you don't need to predict. You meet life as it comes with tools ready and ego silent. The Stoic doesn't rely on luck, he relies on discipline, and discipline eventually looks like fortune. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't dream of the perfect republic, act the part of a good man today." That's all mastery ever is, acting right now, calmly and repeatedly. 12. When you finally get it. When you finally get what you've been working for, the peace, the freedom, the opportunity, the love, don't celebrate with arrogance. Celebrate with awareness. Remember the path you wanted, you worked, you waited, and through it all, you grew. A Stoic doesn't worship achievement, he respects process. He knows the journey changed him more than the result ever could. 13. Passing it forward. Once you've mastered control and achieved calm, your next duty is to share the wisdom, not in speeches, but in example. Show others how to move with patience in chaos. Show how discipline can be gentle. Show how ambition can live in peace. Because every time someone watches your composure and decides to try it themselves, you multiply Stoic strength across generations. Seneca said, "Oh, he who teaches others teaches himself." 14. The final reflection. You now know how to get whatever you want the Stoic way. Clarity. Know exactly what you want. Discipline. Do the work daily. Detachment. Let go of what's beyond you. Composure. Stay steady regardless of outcome. And when you live this way long enough, life begins to trust you with more, because peace is proof of power. Marcus Aurelius concluded, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, so stop chasing, start becoming. And soon you'll realize you already have everything you wanted, because you became the person who no longer needs to chase it." Thank you.